and welcome to another class. Today we're just going to do a nice 30-minute vinyasa flow. So we'll start by sitting on our mat. You're going to have your feet in front of you, your palms with your feet together, kind of making a diamond shape. And it's called butterfly or Shavasana. And grabbing the inside of your wrist, of your ankles, feet. It's really easy. We're just going to warm up our hips a little bit. So flapping your little butterfly wings. Then you can just inhale, straighten your chest, reaching your chest towards the sky. And exhale, fold forward, drawing your belly in, really warming up into the hips. Maybe rocking side to side slightly. Inhale tall, and then exhale, you can bring your right elbow onto your right knee, reaching your left overhead. Kind of trying to wrap your left shoulder back, opening up your chest. And exhale, bring your left arm to your left knee, lifting your right arm overhead, and wrapping your right shoulder back. Stretching here into the side. And exhale. Maybe take some neck circles, bringing your right ear to your right shoulder, then drawing your chest in towards your your chin in towards your right collarbone. Forehead all the way down towards your belly. Chin in towards your left collarbone. And then left ear towards your shoulder. Inhale up. And we'll just go the opposite way. So left ear towards your left shoulder. Chin towards your left collarbone. All the way down. Chin towards your right collarbone. And then right ear towards your right shoulder. Inhale up. And then we will just come into standing at the top of the mat. It is very windy back. Okay, so we're going to do one round of Surya Namaskar A, which is Sun Salutation A. Really easy. So just standing at the top of our mat, feet hip width apart, tailbone tucked. You want to engage your quads by kind of lifting your kneecaps up and towards your hips. Your shoulders are back and down, your arms are by your side, the crown of your head reaching tall. Inhale, rise up. Come onto tippy toes, reaching as tall as you can. And exhale, stay on your tippy toes as you hinge forward, coming down into a forward fold. You can release your heels down, letting your head hang heavy, reaching your tailbone towards the sky. Your knees can be slightly bent or keep them tall. Inhale, halfway lift, your gaze is forward. And then exhale, plant hands and step or hop back into the top of the plank position. From here, we can lower down through chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. So your knees, your chest, and your chin, and then press forward into your cobra. So with a cobra, your tops of your feet are pressing into the mat, along with the tops of your thighs. Shoulders are rolling back. Tuck your toes, and exhale as you press your hips up towards the sky, and back down into your downward facing dog. Your arms are straight, your legs are straight. You're really pressing out through your shoulders and reaching your tailbone up towards the sky. Trying to reach your heels towards the mat. Maybe walk your dog a little bit, so bending your knees. Walking them side to side. Finding any movements that you want here, maybe swinging your hips side to side. Really just warming up into the body. Whatever feels good. And then find stillness. Inhale as you bend your knees and look forward. And then exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift. Your gaze is forward, your tailbone reaching tall. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, rise, arms up. And exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Your gaze is forward. Plant your hands, exhale, step or hop back to the top of the plank. If you're going to take the chaturanga, shift your weight forward so your shoulders are coming in front of your fingertips. And then exhale, lower down through chaturanga, keeping your elbows in towards your chest. And then inhale, upward facing dog. Tuck your toes, exhale, press back into your down dog. Here we're going to warm up the spine with some spinal rolls, which are one of my favorite things to do. So to do this, you're going to press onto the balls of your feet, lifting your hips up, and kind of taking that momentum of your heels lifting up, you're going to press out through your belly, out through your shoulders as you shift your weight forward, coming into the top of the plank position. And then you can either bend your knees and reach your hips back towards your toes, and then straighten your legs back into a downward dog, or you can keep your legs straight. So we'll do that again. So inhale, lifting your toes, pressing out through your shoulders, rolling your body forwards, coming into the top of the plank. And then you can do it with the bent knees, or you can do it with straight legs. You're kind of just dropping your belly. So you're pressing your belly towards your thighs, pressing back into a downward facing dog. Just trying to really feel a flow in this and feel like one fluid motion. So inhale as you roll forwards, and then exhale, press back. I like to keep my gaze forward until I'm just at the end of my down dog, and then I shift my gaze back towards my feet. Inhale, roll forward, last one. Pressing out through your shoulders, and exhale, press back. Here in our down dog, we're gonna bring our right foot forwards and step it between our feet. Lower down on your left knee, untuck your left toes. We'll come into our low lunge. So inhale up. Make sure your hips are square to the front of the mat, your front knee bent at 90 degrees. You can kind of sink your hips a little bit here into your crescent lunge, or sorry, your low lunge. But we will do crescent arms. So you can inhale your arms straight up, and then exhale as you kind of draw your hands back behind you, reaching a little bit towards your back left foot. Your gaze can follow towards the sky, and you get a bit of a back stretch in here. Don't force it, just whatever's comfortable, just a little gentle stretch here. Exhale, bring your hands down to the mat to frame your front foot. Come onto the ball of your left. And then you're going to lift up off of your left knee, step your left foot in a little bit, so your feet are about 3 feet apart. Your back left foot will be slightly angled, and your front right foot is straight towards the front of the mat. Inhale to rise up, and then exhale, fold forward into our pyramid pose. Your hips, you're trying to make them square to the front of the mat so that right hip is kind of wrapping back. Your chest is drawing in towards your thighs, your forehead hanging heavy. Inhale to straighten the spine, and exhale, fold once more into your pyramid. Inhale to straighten the spine, and then you're gonna lift up off of your left toes. Reach your right hand slightly about 1 foot length in front of you and slightly off center to the side. Flex your left toes and then pivot them so the side of your foot is parallel to the ground. Lift your left hand up towards the sky and come into a half moon pose. If you have a water bottle or a block or something, you can bring your hand onto that. It'll help keep your body parallel. And you're gonna see if you can shift your gaze towards your left hand, towards the sky. Staying here in your half moon. Keeping a flex in your left foot. Exhale, you're gonna bend your right knee, find the ground behind you with your left foot, and you might fall over, but you're gonna come into your warrior two. So your front right foot is straight, and then your left foot is parallel. So your feet, ankles, and the arch of your foot are making a T. Your shoulders are back and down, arms long, gaze over the right. Into your warrior two. And then exhale, swing your hands to the front of the mat, come onto the ball of your left, step your right foot back to meet your left, and then take a vinyasa. So inhale, shift forward, exhale, lower down through chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale to upward facing dog. The tops of your thighs are off the mat, pressing down to the tops of your feet. Tuck toes, exhale, press back into a downward facing dog. Take one breath to reset here. And then inhale, you're going to draw your left foot in towards the top of the mat, stepping it between your hands, and lower down your right knee, untucking your right toes. Exhale up into your low lunge on your left side. So I like to inhale up and then sink my hips down a little bit more, trying to keep your hips square, your front knee bent. And then you can take that crescent, so inhaling your arms up and reaching them slightly back, opening up your chest. Your gaze can be slightly towards the sky, slightly back. Exhale, release your hands to the top of the mat. Tuck your right toes, lift up your right knee a little bit, and then step your right foot in slightly. So it's about 3 feet behind your left. And your right toes are slightly pointing towards the top right corner of your mat. Inhale to rise up, and we'll take a shoulder stretch on this one. So bring your hands together behind your back, clasping your palms together. And then exhale as you kind of roll your shoulders back and lift your hands up off of your bum slightly. You should be getting a shoulder stretch here. Inhale, and then exhale, hinge forward. And so your belly and your chest are coming down towards your left thigh, and your hands are coming up off of your butt. If this is too much, you can release your hands and just do the pyramid pose the way we did earlier. Or you can keep that shoulder stretch in here, trying to keep your palms together, or you can just link fingers, either one. Either way, exhale, release your hands to the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift. And then lift up off of your right toes. Reach your left hand slightly in front and to the side. Flex your right toes so your side of your right foot is parallel to the ground. Inhale your right hand towards the sky, coming up into your half moon. And again, if you have a water bottle or something, you can, or a block even better, you can place it underneath your hand. That'll help not collapse into the side as much. So stay here in your half moon pose, trying to reach your left hand towards the sky. You can gaze up, your right hand. You can gaze up towards it, keeping your right foot flexed. Then as we exhale, we're going to step back into our warrior two. So bending your left knee, finding the ground behind you with your right foot, and making your feet like a T, so the arch of your right foot is in line with the heel of your left. Roll your shoulders back, your arms are reaching long to the side, your gaze is forward over your left fingertips, and we're here in our warrior two. You can maybe sink your hips a little bit lower. As you inhale, swing your right hand towards the front of the mat, framing your left foot. Come onto the ball of your right, and then step back to the top of the plank. Shift forward, exhale, lower down, chaturanga or your knees, chest, chin. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then exhale, press back into our downward dog. We'll stay here for a few breaths. It's really trying to reach your tailbone towards the sky, reaching your heels towards the mat, pressing out through your shoulders. Inhale, bend your knees as you shift your gaze forward, and exhale, step rock to the top of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift, And then exhale, fold. Inhale to rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take a bit of a side stretch here. So inhale, your right arm comes towards the sky. Your left hand reaches down your left thigh. And stretch here. Inhale, both arms towards the sky, and then your right hand comes towards your right thigh. As it slides down your right thigh, your left arm comes overhead, stretching into your left side here. Inhale, both arms to the sky. Come onto tippy toes, and exhale. Let's try a swan dive. So bring your hands back behind you as you lower your chest down towards the mat. And then release your heels, release your hands, coming into a forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Place your hands into the mat. You can either step or try that hop back into the top of the plank. Then lower down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale to your upward dog or cobra. Tuck your toes, and exhale, find your way into downward dog. Now we're going to go into goddess. So bring your right knee forward, step it between your hands at the top of your mat. Pivot on your feet so they're pointing towards the corners of your mat. And shift your weight over so your hips are in the middle of your feet. You're sinking your butt down, arms come out like a cactus. Here we are in our goddess pose. Inhale to straighten the legs, and exhale, sink a bit deeper into the pose. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, sink deeper. Inhale, straighten, bring your hands to your hips, and then exhale, we're going to fold forwards. You can bring your hands to the mat in front of you, or bring your hands in line with the heels of your feet. Just folding here, reaching your tailbone up towards the sky. Plant your left hand in the middle, so kind of like right center between your gaze, and then lift your right hand up towards the sky and follow your hand with your gaze, getting a bit of a spinal twist here. Exhale, release your hand. You're going to pivot your right toes so they're pointing the front of the mat. Follow it with your body. So you're almost like in a wide stance pyramid here. Your hands are on your fingertips, framing your front right foot. Press into your right foot as you kick up off of your left and come into a standing splits at the top of your mat. You can have your left foot flexed or pointed. Your gaze is down. Exhale to find the ground with your foot behind you, and inhale up into a high lunge. Try to wrap your right hip back. And then exhale, frame your right foot with your hands. Step back, top of the plank. Then take a vinyasa, so lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then exhale into your down dog. We'll flow into goddess on our left side. So bring your left knee in towards your nose, shifting your weight forward, then place it at the top of the mat. Come on to the side of your right foot, and then pivot your body, swinging it open. So your 2 feet are pointing towards the 2 opposite right corners of the mat. You're sinking your hips down, your tailbone is tucked in, your arms are cactusing, and here we are in goddess pose. Try and draw your shoulders down and away from your ears. Inhale, reach your hands towards the sky, straighten your legs, and exhale, sink into your goddess. If you want, you can come onto your tippy toes, or like the balls of your feet. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, sink down, come onto the balls of your feet. Inhale, straighten, reach up. Exhale, sink down to goddess. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bring your hands to your waist, hinge forward. I like to kind of walk my feet in so they're more parallel now, and then lower down into a wide-legged forward fold. Your hands can be wherever. If you want, you can bring them between your hands. If it's in your practice, if you have headstand, you could come here and go into a tripod headstand. So pressing your weight into your hands, lifting your legs up off of the mat. Or just say, in wide leg forward fold. Inhale, plant your right hand so it's right directly below your gaze. And then inhale your left hand towards the sky. Follow it with your gaze, coming into a twist here. Maybe check in with your hips, make sure that they're still level. Stay here in your twist. And then exhale, release. Pivot towards the front of your mat so your feet are both pointing forwards. You're coming into like a wide stance pyramid. And then spring off of your right foot, kick your right heel towards the sky, coming into a standing splits on your left foot. Lowering your forehead down. Flexing your right foot towards the sky. And then exhale, you're going to find the ground with your right foot, coming into a high lunge. Inhale as your chest lifts high. And then exhale, sink into your lunge a little bit. Wrap your right hip forward, left hip back. Exhale, frame your left foot with your hands. Step back to meet the right and take a vinyasa. Shift down through chaturanga. Inhale into upward dog. Maybe take a few hip dips to release tension in the back of your spine. And then exhale, press back into our downward dog. Going to lower down onto our knees, coming into a tabletop just momentarily, and then sit back into a seated on heels position. We're just gonna open up the back a little bit more. So inhale, lifting your chest up, and exhale, cactus your arms. Press your chest forward as you draw your elbows together behind you, slightly opening into the spine here. And exhale, curl it in. It's almost like you're doing cat-cows, but on seated on heels. Inhale, press your chest forward. And exhale, curl it in. Inhale, press your chest forward. We're gonna go into Wild Thing after this, so it's good to open up the back a little bit. And then curl it in. Inhale to straighten. And exhale, bring your hands in front of you, come back into that tabletop. Tuck your toes, press your hips back up into your downward facing dog. We're gonna go into three-legged dog. So inhale your right leg towards the sky, flexing your heel. And then bring your right heel towards your right butt cheek, opening your right knee towards the sky. Your gaze can come underneath your right armpit. From here, you're going to pivot your left foot. So your left heel is pointing towards the left long edge of your mat. And kind of bending your knees, you're gonna sit your butt down a little bit and set your right foot down behind you. Almost like you're in a reverse tabletop, but you're just on the one arm, on your left arm. And then you're gonna inhale, press your hips up towards the sky as you reach your right hand towards the sky and back behind you, coming into a Wild Thing. So your version of this pose may look different. It's all about how you feel in your spine. Even staying like this, it's perfect. Just do whatever feels good. As you exhale, you're going to kind of set your hips back low. Draw your right hand towards the top of the mat. Lift your right knee, foot off the ground and curl it in. Then come into a tiger curl. Draw your knee in towards your nose. Stay here. And then exhale, kick your right foot back towards the sky into a three-legged dog. And exhale, release. We'll take a spinal roll to reset. So inhale as you press your weight forward, rolling through your shoulder blades, coming into the top of the plank. And exhale, press back into a downward facing dog. Reset your feet. Inhale, lift your left foot towards the sky and flex the heel or point the toes. And then exhale, draw your left heel towards your left butt, opening up your left knee towards the sky, and your gaze shifts under your left armpit. From here, we're going to go into our three-legged dog. So you're bending your right foot as you pivot your right heel towards the right edge of the mat. Find the ground with your left foot behind you. Kind of square out your hips a little bit. Then reach your left hand towards the sky as you press your hips up into your wild thing pose. Take one more breath here. And then exhale. You're gonna square your body out to the mat, so bring your left hand back. Draw your left knee in towards your nose, coming into your tiger curl. And then exhale, kick your left foot back up towards the sky, into your three-legged dog. Exhale, release it to the mat, into your downward dog. Take a few breaths. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to your side. Maybe take a stretch of the neck so your left ear comes to your left shoulder. Inhale, back up. Right ear to right shoulder. Inhale, back up. Inhale, rise up to standing. And exhale, come down into a chair pose. So your butt is almost just like you're sitting on a chair. Kind of try and tuck your belly button in towards the back of your spine, your tailbone is sitting down, your chest is open and up. And then lower your butt down, coming into sitting on your butt on the mat. Lower your spine down, slowly rolling it down. And then just find a comfortable position here. We're going to go into bridge pose. So walk your feet in slightly so your heels are touching your fingertips. Your feet are about hip width apart. And pressing your hands into the mat, you're going to lift up your hips and stay here. You can then walk your arms and your shoulders underneath your butt or underneath your shoulder blades a little bit. You can maybe even grab hands, clasp them underneath you, and just press your hips up a little bit higher, trying to draw your inner thighs in towards each other. Stretching here into the spine. Exhale, release your hands or your shoulders from underneath you, and then roll down your spine. Draw your knees in towards your chest, curl them in, maybe flex your toes. And then you're going to press your feet out behind you and kind of follow it with your chest. We're setting up into a boat pose. So you might need to rock, but come into a boat pose. So your feet are parallel with the ground, your knees are bent, your shoulders are backing down, and your arms are long, reaching towards your heels. If you want, you can straighten your legs or stay in this version of boat. If you want to really burn your abs, you can lower yourself down so you're in a very low boat. Or stay in this higher one. Lower your feet onto the mat and then roll your spine back down, we're gonna come into a shoulder stand. So this is one of my favorite poses. It really releases a lot of tension in my spine. So to do this, you're gonna pretty much just kick your feet over the back of your head. There's no other way to explain it. So you can kind of rock them back and forth. So you're pressing your hands into the mat as you lift your butt up and draw your knees back towards you, kind of kicking your feet. And then when you're ready, bring them behind you, and then take your hands and press them to support your lower spine. You can walk your elbows in towards each other, and then lift your feet up. I mean, whatever version you have is perfectly good. You'll feel your spine releasing here. So just make sure that you're supporting your back. And yeah, see how straight you can press your feet up. If you feel very comfortable, then you can release your hands and bring them on the mat. But if you're just beginning, make sure you're supporting them, supporting your lower back with your hands. If you want, from here, you can go into plow pose. So supporting your lower back and lower your feet behind your head. If your feet touch the ground, then you can release your hands. I like to clasp them, and then I like to walk my elbows underneath me, my shoulders underneath, kind of like how we did in bridge, and really stretch here. This is where you'll really feel a release through your spine. If you want even more, you can bend your knees, bring them towards your ear for ear pressure pose. And just stay in whatever version feels good for you of this pose, plow pose, shoulder stand. This is a really good pose to bring blood flow from your feet back down towards your head. Any kind of feet up in the air is very good, especially right before bed. Maybe you don't need to do shoulder stand before bed, but you could just even do feet up the wall pose. It's very good. If you want a little bit more core work with this, one of my favorite things is, so I press my hands into the mat, I lower my spine down, roll it down, and then I press up. Lower my spine, lower my butt, lower my feet, and press up. And I normally do like 10 of these. Or you can just stay in your plow pose, whatever version. Wherever you are, you're gonna slowly, when you come down, press your hands into the mat. So you can release them from your lower spine and press them into the mat. So this is kind of your brakes. And then you slowly lower your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, down onto the mat. And then you're gonna draw your knees in towards your armpits, grab your toes with your peace fingers, come into happy baby, pulling your knees in towards your armpits. You can rock side to side. You can straighten your legs. I really like to do this with a straightened leg. You're gonna rock forwards and back, kind of releasing a bit more tension in your spine. Just feeling what feels good. When you're done, bring your knees back into towards your chest. Curl yourself into a ball one last time. And then exhale, release your legs out long in front of you. Release your hands beside you. Letting your shoulders fall, letting your feet fall. Closing down your eyes and taking a Shavasana. Trying to stay in this pose as long as you can. I like to put on flute music and meditate here. It's really good just noticing any sensations in your body, any feelings, and just really letting all the goodness of the practice sink into your body. So stay here as long as you want, and when you're done, take one last stretch. Come into a seated position, and thank you for practicing with me. If you're still in your Shavasana, enjoy it, and I'll see you in my next class.